Can you guys see us at all?
All right, we're live.
There you go. There's Johnny. There's Johnny.
Hi. Hi. I'm sorry it took me a few minutes longer.
Well, it's going to take all of us, I think, till we learn.
Yeah. Well, I had to install a plug-in, and I thought Bethany and I have done this before, so I didn't know I was going to have to do that. Yeah. Okay.
Let's hope that Blab comes back quickly and it's still a format we can use.
I hope so.
Did it say much about it? Did you say they were done and they were going to be coming back? Did it say anything, timeline or anything, or what they were going to do?
I don't think so. What I gathered from it is that they really, what they liked that worked about it was when people just got on and stayed on and connected and had this freewheeling stuff going on more so than things like what we do. And that's what they want to do, is come up with the platform that sort of engages that kind of experience rather, again, than something like what we do. So I don't know. I mean, that's just what I took from the article.
Yeah, so it still might not be what we want eventually.
Yeah.
And I know someone mentioned Zoom. I'm on Zoom.
Tell me about Zoom. I don't know anything about it.
To me, I'll describe it as Brady Bunch. Okay? There could be multiple people, so we could only keep it 4. I think everybody has to join, but I'm not sure how the invitation works, how the broadcast works. I think anybody that's there becomes part of the picture, which could be not so good.
Yeah.
I love everybody. Most of our regular crew, I'd have no problem
I know.
But sometimes you get some
strangers,
uninvited people, that could come on as promotional or something that we wouldn't want.
Is there a cost to that? Because
I think there's something that you pay like once a year or something.
Okay.
Zoom is really good for meetings. Like, we use it for meetings, but I don't think it's not really what we want for our
I don't think it is either.
Ryan told me that Huzza, H-U-Z-Z-A, it could be Huzzah, I don't know how to say it. He said that it's free and you can stream live to Facebook.
H-U-Z-Z-A? H-U-Z-Z-A.
He says he's not sure if you can do 3 or more people, but if we can do 3, at least it would work a little bit.
Is Facebook Live into split screen yet?
Not that I know. I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Matthew doesn't see the invite. He doesn't know how to get on.
I'm not seeing anything in the chat. How do I do that?
Jeannie, did it go to your email address, the invitation?
No. I saw it on the side. I don't know if you can hear me. I saw it on the side, on the right-hand side. I saw a thing that said I missed a call. Bethany added Matthew, I see, and I hit the thing that had my name on it. Bethany added, I saw like Johnny's in my name, and I hit that, and that took me.
All right, Matt, I just invited you again, if you can hear me, to your email. So maybe it'll go through your email this time. Oof, Blab, why?
I know. I know. I
or
know.
Facebook. Why can't we do 4 people on Facebook yet, really? That would be amazing, because since we already have Facebook groups,
that would be perfect.
I'm excited for Facebook to do that at some point. And I'm sorry that my camera's all the way up there, and I'm looking right here.
Hey, Robin, since you're here, first of all, can you hear us okay? Can you see us?
How are you guys seeing? I clicked the chat. It says group chat, but okay.
Yeah, we're getting Matthew.
There's Matthew.
There he is.
Yay.
Oh, there he is. But I'm not seeing other comments. How are you guys seeing other comments?
I saw them on. Go ahead.
I made my picture smaller, and they were underneath. They were on the Google Hangout screen. I had to make the screen smaller so I could see them.
And then I saw it on the event page on a different window.
Oh, okay. I'm not sure what.
But nobody's really commenting. That
I see what you did. I see it, Jeannie. Okay.
Yeah.
I've just got to.
And it's down below.
A little bit.
It's showing Tammy's watching. Well, it says watching. I don't know if those people are all on, but it has our regular crew. a lot of there, but I'm not seeing comments now.
When I was on the when I was first on the Hangout, I got a little notification saying that go and watch this on YouTube.
Really?
So I clicked on that, and we're broadcasting on YouTube. So I wonder if there's a bunch of people who are just watching it on YouTube, and we don't see them.
Yay!
Well, people on YouTube, we are doing this for the first time after having Writer's Chat on Blab for several months. And with the demise of Blab, we're just sort of trying to figure out what to do. So this is a little disjointed right now, and I apologize. Bear with us. Whoops.
Come on. I'll turn my
But
camera on.
Oh my gosh.
I think if there's a way to invite people, like Bethany, I don't know if you can invite others from the group. I don't know what would happen there, if that would end up everyone in the video, or if that gives them access to chat or what.
I think you post them in the video.
Oh, okay.
But it shouldn't. I mean, the thing is, Dave Strine and I have done this before, and there were people who were chatting in the sidebar, but they weren't on screen.
Okay.
But I don't know how they got there.
I just went to YouTube.
Did
I
it?
just went to YouTube, and we are over there, folks.
Really? I've never been on YouTube before.
But the trouble was I was picking both Johnny up, and then it's probably like a couple moments delay, and I was picking up Johnny in both places, and I wasn't sure if that was being picked up here. So I came back to this. And
Hangout is going over to YouTube Live.
Mm-hmm.
This actually, which is good because Google Hangouts is terrible.
She said that so quietly.
yeah, I went to.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, cool! YouTube and
Yeah,
Hangout.
I did. I just searched Writer's Chat, and we popped right up.
I'm afraid to do that. So
I've done
Mine
something
too.
and I can't see anybody now. So
Me too.
I know what you did. Okay, click the YouTube button on the left. It'll bring you back.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I'll stop playing around.
I made a huge mistake. That's what I thought just a second ago. All right, we should probably start because this is all being filmed.
Okay. No pause
Jeremy,
recording.
Can't see anything. I don't know. Well, we'll learn. We'll have a chat.
We'll figure something out for next week, too. I don't know how you can tell who's actually viewing, Jeannie. Because I'd like to say hi. to people.
The thing I saw is you're going to watch, and it was people that said yes. Let's see. I have a thing when I scroll down, kind of in the middle, that says viewers. And it's got Jeremy, Gail, us. I can't read it all because of this.
Where do you have that?
Those are people, I think, who've said that they want to view.
And they may not be on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I can see over here the viewers. There's 12. I'm on the page. All right, we need to start talking about this because this is like taking up the time.
All right.
Oh, it's only 11:02. We're good.
We're all
But
right.
where are you seeing that? Just real quick.
I'm in my Google account. I'm on the event page, so I can see like some people were leaving comments.
Okay.
We don't have 12 people alive right now.
I'm sorry, I can't see that.
Yeah, I think there's a few people on the event page saying that they can't make it work, that they're not in. But I think if people head over to YouTube and search for it, you'll at least find it there. So that's
Okay.
one person has said that they found it on YouTube, and then others are saying they're having trouble also.
When I went to YouTube, I just went to the search bar and put Writer's Chat, and I found this right away. So maybe we'll say that several times this morning if people join us. And
I'm excited about today, actually.
Me too. And I'm sorry it's a little bit troublesome, Matt, for your sake, but we'll do it again. When we get things worked out, we'll have you back.
Sure.
Bethany, why don't you just sort of be the hostess today with the mostess?
All right, sounds good. Well, I just want to thank everybody that is watching who got on here, like the craziness. And I am going to have to go out and move my car just because the tree people are here, and I had to move it, and I had to move it to a guest spot, and they're pretty particular about taking guest spots. So I might run out in just a second, but I am excited to introduce my new friend, Matt, who we met at Blue Ridge, because we were all at Blue Ridge. And Matt sat at our table, and he does fantasy YA, correct?
Middle grade.
Middle grade, that's right.
Yeah.
Middle grade fantasy. And he's just like an all-around super awesome guy. And so he started coming into Ryder Chat with us, and he does what we're really excited to talk about today is BookBub, because he got to be an author on there. So that's like something cool that not a lot of people do. And he's also self-published his books. Talk about your books, Matt.
Okay. Well, there's one of them. That's the first one. So that's Del Ryder and the Crystal Seed, and then book 2, Del Ryder and the Rescue of Eleanor. So it's going to be maybe 4 books in a series. And basically, it's kind of like Narnia in a way. Like there's 4 kids who go into another world. There's no lion, but there's and basically they've just got to try to figure out how to get home. But the inhabitants of that other world, there's kind of this light that's infused in the world and in the creatures that are there, and that light is starting to fade, and nobody really knows why. But the inhabitants of that world start to they believe that the kids that have kind of stumbled their way into this world, they think they've been sent there to rescue them in some way, and the kids don't know anything about that. So they've got to try to figure out, are we here for a reason, or do we just want to get out of here because we're scared and we want to get home? So the story's kind of about that. That's the first book. Then they end up going back in the next book as well. So that's basically what it's about. So there's Christian themes throughout. I'm a pastor as well, which Bethany didn't mention. I'm a pastor in the Presbyterian Church in Canada, and so it's really hard to not have Christian themes show up in the book that I write. So
it just comes naturally, doesn't it?
Yeah, and in a lot of ways I didn't necessarily plan that, and there's a character who is really God or Jesus in the book, and he wasn't planned to be in the book when I first wrote it, and then about partway through all of a sudden he showed up, and I thought, oh yeah, I guess that's what God does. God just shows up.
It is what God does, yes.
So that was pretty cool. So those are the books. That's kind of what I've been working on. And this first one I published last June, and the second one just came out this past May.
Nice.
And they are self-published?
Yeah. So they've been on, the ebooks are all over the place, although we can talk about this a little bit if you want, but I'm probably going to just go to exclusively on Kindle.
Yeah.
Sometime in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to make that change. And then the paperbacks I just print through CreateSpace.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes. You might be interested, Matthew. I just was up at Stratford, Canada last week, seeing the plays, and one of the plays was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, my family was there. We did a road trip out to Ontario, and so we saw the play as well a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, it's beautiful. Did you go to the Perth Museum? They had a whole display on C.S. Lewis and The Lion and the Witch. At the comment, they talked about his writing process, and he did the same thing. He said this wasn't originally a book about Christianity.
Right.
Aslan showed up, just exactly what you did. He wrote the story first, then the Christian themes just kind of bubbled. I think he actually used the words, they bubbled up.
Yeah. I had just before I was at Blue Ridge, I was at Montreat, which is just down the road, and for a course on C.S. Lewis.
Oh.
And so that was great to kind of learn a whole bunch. And it was a kind of a biographical course, which I thought it was going to be maybe more theology and about his writings. But it was really fascinating because it was very much about his life, and that was part of it, as well as kind of how Narnia happened. And it was actually some of the incidental characters that came up first, like Mr. Tumnus was one of the first characters he had. And
he had
started
the
writing
image
that.
of the lamppost, didn't he? He had the image of the lamppost, and from the image, everything else came. So it was
pretty neat.
It was neat.
Process works.
Yeah, very neat that way. Great. Well, I'm curious.
It's also really neat that you guys were in Stratford at the same time. Just a couple weeks ago, I didn't know it.
Yeah. Probably saw each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I forgot to say, Matt's from Canada.
Excuse me.
I'll try to say A a lot. So.
Yeah. A. Well, you know what? I am not that familiar with BookPub. Book Hub, it's called, isn't it?
Bub.
Book, B-U-B, it is?
Yes.
Okay. And so maybe one of you guys ought to inform me, because I bet there's some other people in the chat or on YouTube that don't fully understand what it is.
Yeah, well, BookBub, go to bookbub.com and there's information there. From the reader side, it's amazing. Like I subscribe to BookBub and get an email every day from them. Basically, it's a giant email list.
Okay.
And you can go there and you can select what genres you like. And then they will just send you every day some book suggestions in those genres for things to buy or get for free. There's lots of free ebooks. So even I think last year, like Girl on a Train was huge, right? And there was one day where I think it was either 99 cents or free on Kindle. And people who subscribed to BookBub in that genre found out about that deal on that day and got it. So from the reader side, it's great because you can get discounted ebooks. And their subscriber list is in the millions. Like there are millions of readers who subscribe to it. And then on the author or the publisher side, so you can basically go in and become what they call a BookBub partner. It doesn't cost anything to do that. But then you can try to get a featured deal with them, which is what I ended up getting. And they're also starting a new advertising platform that's not open to everybody yet, but there's a way to just pay to have an ad in their email. If you get a feature deal, then you pay for that, but you only pay if they give you one. And it's actually pretty hard to get one. I got one, I think, on my 4th or 5th submission. So I submitted like every couple of months for the last year. And finally they gave me one, which was great. And then that'll be in certain categories. So I was in the middle grade category, which is one of their smallest lists, which is still about 500,000 people.
Wow.
So, and so and they give you an average, I think out of those 500,000, on average, if it's a free deal, there's about 5,000 downloads that'll result from that. So kind of you've got this huge access, but it'll still be a small number. But if you're writing in other genres, like you can go to their website, you scroll down to the bottom, and there's a way to get to the pricing. I think it might just be bookbub.com/partners/pricing maybe. And then it shows you kind of how much it would cost you if you got a feature deal and what you could expect in terms of average downloads or sales, because they'll also do like 99-cent deals or $1.99 deals, things like that. So it's a pretty powerful tool, and like I can even tell you sort of a little bit about my experience.
I like to know that.
Being in middle grade is actually really tough. Like it's a very difficult genre to sell. I've now discovered I enjoy writing it because I can't sell really directly to my readers. I sell to parents, teachers, librarians, things like that. And so on BookBub, it's actually a fairly cheap deal because I think it's $80 for a middle grade feature deal, and I ended up in the first 4 days on Kindle getting 7,700 downloads, which is crazy.
Wow!
So I was just shocked when I was seeing those stats. Now, most of those people are gonna never read the book. Like it'll sit on their Kindle, with their other 400 books that they've downloaded for free, right? But a percentage of them are actually going to read my book, and so I've kind of been able to see, some reviews that have come in from that. So, and then also some sales on book 2. So I sold 56 ebooks of book 2 in July, whereas in June, which was its first month of release, I only sold 8 ebooks. Wow. And that's because most of the people I know who, right now, mostly it's people I know who are buying from me, they want paperbacks from me because they want me to sign them. So I'm not really selling a ton of ebooks, but then as soon as I got my BookBub deal, I made my $80 back within 2 weeks.
Wow.
So for that kind of
the idea of getting more reviews, too.
Yeah, the reviews were great. Like I had, I wrote this all down so I would not forget. Yeah, like I've had 9 reviews on Amazon.com since July 1st, and prior to that, in an entire year, I had 23.
Okay.
So, and then on Goodreads, that went even farther. So Goodreads, because they can do ratings on there, I've had 24 ratings since July 1st, and only 23 before that.
Do you have to keep your book free for a certain period of time, or can you keep it free for 1 month and then go back to $2.99 or something?
No, it can be. It just has to be free on the day you're giving. So, like my strategy was just to have it permanently free. I'm going to change that now and just go. So it's been permanently free since January. So I had actually, like, overall, I think I've given away something like 17,000 ebooks since January. But over 10,000 of those have been in July.
Wow.
So, like, on my own, it was really hard to even give the book away. But with BookBub, suddenly it's like 10 to 12,000, and those are just Kindle numbers, I think. So it's also on iBooks and Nook and Kobo. So, although Kobo, you can't find out what your free books are because their dashboard's broken. But that's
but what a good way to get your name out there, and like you get feed into your book 2 or 3 and 4.
Yeah.
You know.
So it's worth applying for, and you can apply every month for a BookBub until you get one or don't. So I've heard of people applying 15 times before getting one. It's a really highly curated list. So in some ways, middle grade, it's a little bit easier to get a BookBub because I don't think there's as many people applying because it's a smaller genre.
What's the application like? The process.
It's an online form and it's pretty easy. To apply. Like it'll take you just a couple of minutes once you've signed up as a partner.
Okay.
So it's not hard, but it's really hard to get one. So and BookBub has some stuff on their blog about how to, best practices, what you can do. But I think part of it is you have to have a certain number of reviews. They don't say how many, but because it's genre dependent. So I got one with around 20 reviews on Amazon. But that might be way higher. Like if you're a romance writer, like there's way more people reading romance, so you might need way more reviews than that for them to even bother looking. I don't know.
I think I looked it up, and it was kind of expensive and I have no control over the cost. I mean, the cost of my ebook either. So it was kind of prohibitive, but it was interesting to see that the different genres cost different amounts of money.
Yeah. I've yet to read anywhere, kind of in the self-publishing community. I haven't seen anybody say that they haven't made their money back on a BookBub, either directly or indirectly. Like if you have a series like I do, I made my money back on book 2, and then I didn't even think about there was a spillover effect. Like you can buy my paperback on Amazon, and it's linked to the ebook, right? So. I ended up selling 32 paperbacks as a result of the BookBub.
Yeah, great.
So just that alone, I made my $80 back. So, and if I can spend money on advertising and I just make my money back, then the exposure for me is worth it.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. On that, there is some theory on some publicists about having a perma-free book, where you keep it all the time. That leads into either your blog or your email list or more series, or it's kind of like the hook that's out there, the lead magnet that's out there, on that. And in a way, the BookPub is becoming the distribution for that.
Yeah, and like BookBub is kind of like just having it's someone else's email list, right?
Yeah.
And it's just on a massive scale. But then like you said, I've got links back to my website at the front and the back of my book, and then people can sign up for my mailing list, which is really tiny right now. But I've been getting more sign-ups since July because there's a few people who've read it and liked it, and they want to keep track of what's next. So it's been good. And for me, like I'm just starting. Like I feel like I'm on here talking about this, but I would love to. I just can't wait to see what happens in the next 3 years, 4 years. because it's not like I feel like it just started last year, and I'm only now a year later starting to get a tiny bit of traction, and it's not very big traction at all. So.
Hold on, Bethany. Where did you do this chat? Where did you? Do I just answer in the chat room? Because yes, I can see it up there. I just saw Johnny say yes. Where did you type that, Johnny?
Well, I had to click on her when her little thing popped up. I clicked on her balloon, and it opened the group chat for me. Because before that, there was nothing. Blue window and sidebar. Yeah. She's muted. Can't talk.
I think that's just between the four of us, though.
Okay.
You have to be actually on this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious. Well, it's another thing we're learning. Another thing we're learning.
But I guess when the tree people are too loud, then Bethany can still participate.
Be my voice. Can people, though, Bethany, can people, like, join the Hangout, but if they don't want their pictures shown, do something to avoid that from happening? YSE. Oops. Yes. So, I don't know. That may be a way for people to get into the chat if they join the Hangout, but I don't know how for sure about all that. But then you could chat, and you wouldn't have to be seen if you didn't want to be seen.
Yeah. Matthew, let's talk a little bit about self-publishing. What did you find is the biggest challenge in self-publishing, either Kindle or in CreateSpace or both? What did you find out? What did you learn? What did you find out?
Oh, that's a huge question. I should say, first of all, that I didn't actually consider going a traditional route. So I know lots of the folks in these chats kind of know about publishing, and I didn't really know anything. I just started writing, and part of why I started writing lots of books over the years and never finished. Like, I would get no more than about 10 pages in, maybe. And actually what motivated me to finish was I started learning about self-publishing. And there's a book called Write, Publish, Repeat that I kind of stumbled upon and started reading that. And that became motivating for me, thinking, if I finish a book, I can just put it out there. I don't have to worry about the business or anything. I can just put it out there, and then people who I know could find it and read something I'd written. So that motivated me to actually get the book done. Also, I was 39 years old, and I was thinking I wanted to write a book before I was 40, so that was motivating.
That'll do it.
And so I stumbled onto a story that I guess stuck, so that helped. And then I just thought, my way of approaching things is just to jump into stuff and to not worry too much about it. So one of the best things that I did actually was I wrote a short story, which is terrible, and then I just edited it myself. I didn't want to spend any money on it. I went to Fiverr, if people know the website, Fiverr, and got a cover for the book, for an ebook, for $5, and then I published that under a pen name on Kindle, which you can do. You don't have to use your regular name, and you don't even have to put who it's published by. So there's this little ebook that's sitting there that I think's been downloaded by 4 people in the last 18 months, and I hate it. But I probably unpublish it at some point. But that's how I learned how KDP worked, and so that was really, really helpful for me, because I was able to test things out with that little short story. And then use that to learn how to publish something that I actually wanted people to read.
That's a good idea, actually, just to sort of get, iron out all the wrinkles and all that, and get to know before you put something. But, Jeannie's done stuff on CreateSpace. Oh, let me say first, if you're on YouTube and you're also in our Facebook Writers Chat, Bethany has added a couple links if you want to click on that. We believe you can come in and mute your voice, mute your photo, but then you can write in the chat, and we'd love to have you do that. and she's also got a link for Matt's free book on there as well. So that was just like a little announcement. And we have a
She's
question.
asking what's the pen name. No,
Yeah,
I'm not
she wants
telling.
to know the pen's names. And does BookBub have children's books?
Yeah, BookBub does have children's books, as far as I know.
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
again,
That's
harder to sell.
it'd be really worth exploring. Really worth exploring. It sounds like it. Like you said, more as a marketing and as a kind of to build your readership tool, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And or just.
The other thing I was going to mention, or a couple of other things I was going to mention about self-publishing and learning, like if people haven't really explored it before, I would start with thecreativepen.com.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Pen with 2 N's. I don't know if people know of Joanna Penn, but
she's great.
She's that's the one place once I found that and started subscribing to her podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably where I've learned the most especially about the marketing side of things.
Mm-hmm.
But also that she's got links there as well to the Alliance of Independent Authors, and there's lots of free material there. You can also become a member and get access to other stuff as well. But they've got some books as well just about what to beware of. Like I've heard of lots of people who have used self-publishing services and have ended up spending thousands of dollars and not really getting any results.
I didn't know she had a podcast, though.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten her email for quite a while and probably haven't paid that much attention to. She also does podcasts and stuff. And
I've listened to her. It's been quite a while ago, but she's really good. She knows her stuff.
Yeah. And stuff. Did you have much trouble with the formatting when you went from your written, like say, do you use Word or you use Scrivener or what do you use to write your stuff in and then to upload it? The formatting always seems to be a problem for some people.
Yeah, I use Scrivener, which I think for me that was a game changer. Like wow, it completely blew me away. My mom is actually writing a book right now, and I got her using Scrivener.
Really?
She's never written anything. And so that was a big deal. I also, before I was a pastor, I had a computer science background, and so I kind of learned how to design websites before things like WordPress existed. So I did web design 20 years ago when it was really hard. Which I actually know less about how to make a website look good now than I did back then. So I could make a really great website in the 1990s. But not so good now. But I think that background actually really helped me with book formatting and figuring out Scrivener. So I'm usually pretty good at figuring out software. Oh, we got more people. Look at that.
Yeah, there's Vicky.
Hi, Vicky.
So what I ended up doing with, once I kind of like tinkering with software, so I just sat and learned how to export out of Scrivener and did my own book formatting directly out of there.
Okay.
So, and it was just a lot of trial and error. So hours at night. So I'd be sitting watching a movie with my wife at night, and I'd be tinkering with Scrivener. And she's very patient. She's very patient and understanding.
Wow.
But so if you don't want to do that, right? If you're not great at learning that, you can pay people to format. You can hire a book formatter and export as Word, and they can do it.
Another thing, you can hire somebody to go to Fiverr again. We mentioned Fiverr a little bit ago. The people that do that really quickly.
Yeah. So I learned how to do that, and I also ended up exporting directly my PDF files directly for CreateSpace too. So both the ebook and the paperback, and then just stumbled upon a good cover designer, and that was really a neat experience, as well as figuring out how to get a good cover.
Good. Oh, shoot! I lost my question. Just back to Scrivener. Why did you like it so well?
I think one of the biggest things is just the organizational features of it, like being able to I could write a scene and then have it have it accessible, I guess, if that makes sense. Like if you're in a Word file, I never knew where I was, so if I needed to change something or find something, it was really hard to find.
Yeah.
And Scrivener it's built that way just so that it's easy to find things.
Yeah.
And I really like the notes feature as well. Like when I got to editing, the way that I edit now is to basically, as I'm reading through, rather than making the changes as I go, I will flag things in the notes in the sidebar in Scrivener and just decide, I'm going to actually fix things later, but all I'm going to do now is find the things that need fixing and make a note about them. And then I can go and look later when I'm in fixing mode to actually think through, how am I really going to say this, or how am I going to change this sentence so it actually makes sense.
Yeah. Is Scrivener only Apple-based, or is it PC-based too?
No, it's
I don't
PC.
know.
It's both. You can get it. It started out as a Mac program, but yeah, you can get it for PC now too.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also an iPad now, apparently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
And Bethany's got a coupon code, so if you use her name, you can get 20% off.
Yeah. Jan Facebooked me that, messaged me that. That's why I was going to be sure that Jan, I think she must be watching on YouTube. I wanted to know that. So hopefully she could see Bethany's.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So that's fun. We're going to have one of us on Facebook Messenger and one of us. Yeah. And the chat does not show on YouTube. He's telling us. Bethany, I don't know if you want to put your code then or come back on. It's a separate stream, she's saying. Yeah. So you might have to, or put it back on, and I can give it to Jan, but it's like.
On YouTube as well, you can't see everybody. You only see, like Matthew talking. So it's like just watching a video.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting. We'll have to go back and watch it afterwards, and like I said. And like to our regular crew or anybody else watching us, so we came over, we'll just repeat what we kind of said at the beginning. We came over because Blab is no more, at least temporarily, and we wanted to try Google Hangout, and did not know we were going to be on YouTube, but that's kind of exciting. That's exciting, and so we're trying a new medium, so we're still learning, so we don't have all the glitches worked out and stuff. Bethany, are you still muted?
Yeah.
Okay.
See the little microphone down there.
On that. So what's next for you, Matthew? What's coming up next?
Well, I guess a couple of things. The video is distracting. Sorry. I'm taking a bit of a break from working on my series. I'm actually probably about 40,000 words into the third book, but I'm committed to writing the third and fourth book consecutively and then editing them together. Just because of consistency issues, I think that's going to be easier. Yeah. It'll just take a little longer to get the books out.
Yeah.
But I decided to take a break. I'm writing a bit of nonfiction as well, so I'm just starting to write, starting to work on a project just around different spiritual practices. So kind of with my pastor hat on.
Jeannie does that too.
I do that too.
Have a lot in common.
Okay. We need to connect, Matthew.
We should have had lunch in Stratford. That would.
Yeah, a lot of good places there, isn't it? A lot of good places too. So we do need to connect on that.
Yeah. So we're just starting to. I'm just starting to do that, and then also Bethany, she convinced me to start live streaming at Facebook.
Yeah.
And so last June I live streamed my morning devotions on the Psalms, and then I've had I just read through about 5 Psalms a day and just comment on things as they occurred to me, and just anyone I was friends with on Facebook had access. But I've started to have some people ask me, well, how can I watch those videos? So what I've created now is an email sequence where people can sign up, and I'll just email them a video every day. So it's basically a 30-day video devotional on the Psalms.
Nice.
And it's super raw, right? Because I interact with comments, and I'm talking about news items that happened in June. So I'm just explaining that to people. If you don't want that, then don't sign up. But so it's almost ready to go, so I'm hoping by September people will be able to have that, and then my hope is that if there's some people who sign up for that, then I've got a list of people that I can go to around the spiritual practices book and say, you know, this might be coming out. I still haven't decided whether I might self-publish the spiritual practices book or whether I would go and start looking for an agent or whatever. I don't know. So we'll see where that is. Like, that might take me a while to get the book written. So I've written a bunch of it, but we'll see.
Yeah. Do you have a website or a blog or anything like that?
Yeah.
Both, or?
Well, yeah, it's basically the website, and there's a blog there. So mattbrough.com.
Okay. Yeah. That sounds great.
Put the link somewhere.
Great. On that. Johnny, you got other questions on?
Oh, well, I was just talking to people in the chat about live video because I have an idea, but I'm nervous about getting started. So I guess one of the things I wanted to know about doing that, if anyone has an answer, if you do a series and you miss a day, are you able to pre-record and put that on? I mean, I know then you lose the interaction, but is that a good idea to just have something in backup, or is that even possible? Or just how do you just get started? Just do it? Oh, and Jan's here. Hi, Jan.
Hi, Jan.
Hi, guys.
And
You can upload video.
Profile both.
You can upload video.
So you'd be able to do that, and you could schedule that on your page. And I guess my other question, and this, I mean, there's just so much to think about. Okay, Vicki says when she was traveling, she's still stuck with it. Well, you're more disciplined probably than I am. Yeah. I don't know what you mean by video sequence, Bethany, but I'm thinking about doing like a 1 to 2 minute thing about writing novels every day, like during the weekday. So, just talk to your phone. See, you guys know so much more than I do about this stuff. I don't have to be on my laptop then.
Easy peasy. Right.
Yeah. Okay. I need someone by my side to say, here's how you do this.
Yeah.
Well, I was really glad I went to Bethany's workshop with the other few people that were there because she made us do a live stream in the workshop.
That was good to do. Yeah, Vicki was there too. So, and Bethy's always telling me, "Good, call it Mom."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it was painful.
With those of you doing live streaming, do you try to do a consistent time? I think that's probably the biggest recommendation.
Okay, that was another question. Yeah.
But I think that's really difficult a lot of times to always say I'm going to be on 11 o'clock every Tuesday on live stream. Here we're doing this, and I'm saying it that. But but to say we have this show plus to try to do something as an individual, I'm just curious. And okay, so Vicki says she did noon Central most of the time, and it wasn't long. So yeah. So we just need to kind of find a good time and kind of aim for that consistency, it sounds like.
Yeah, I wonder if this I know Bethany's saying she wish she could talk as well.
I wish she could too.
But I wonder if that's maybe a topic, that should be a topic for one of the writer chats when Bethany is going to be able to speak. She's almost the she's my expert anyway on this. So
see her, can't you? Just wanting to jump in.
Yeah.
Yes. And I see David's joined us. David, I emailed you last week, and somehow we missed our connection. So.
No. Well, we'll blame it on the time zones. It's 10:30 p.m. here.
We'll keep connect. I'll email you again because I'm back around this week, and maybe we can find a good time to. We were going to call each other, so we'll get that connected. So you haven't forgotten yet.
Thank you. Cool.
On that, so we're glad you could join us today. So this is working with some multiple people down here.
It is.
But tell me again, on YouTube, you only see one person. Is it the person talking, or do you just see one person? Does anybody know?
It's whoever's talking. It's whoever's popped up. But I think Bethany before just kind of put it she can control who's being seen. She's
Ooh. Ooh, Bethany has the power. Is it still noisy there, Bethany? We need you back in here.
Okay, they stopped for a second. Right outside my window.
Fast, yes. Say everything you can as fast as you can.
You were
Okay.
you wanted to say some stuff. I know that.
Well, I almost spit my coffee out when Matt said that you can hide the publisher on Amazon. I was like, I check publishers, actually. When I'm looking for books, I like to see. I was like, that was kind of annoying. And then the other thing I wanted to say was, for anybody who feels overwhelmed because of all these things, like getting started, seriously, most of the programs, you just download them from the App Store, whatever App Store it is, and then you just sign up. I mean, that's all you have to do just to get started. And then just, if you have questions, just Google. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'll have a dual monitor situation happening or two windows open where, you know, I'm watching somebody start something and then doing it myself. And even like Snapchat, which is not intuitive at all. I had no idea how to use it. One of my friends just got on the phone with me and like walked me through it since I couldn't like watch a YouTube. I could find a YouTube video on it. That's all I have to say. Those are my last thoughts.
Wow.
I wanted to go back to Scrivener as well. For anybody who is not using Scrivener and wants to try it, they have one of the best trial programs I have ever seen. So they do a 30-day trial, but it's 30 days of actual use. So you can almost write, like if you write fast, you might be able to write an entire book in the trial because it's just the day that you use it. So if you make sure you quit the program, it's every time you open it. So you could open it 3 weeks later, and that's still just your second use of the program. So it's really worth just trying out and playing around with because you get 30 days to actually try it.
I always heard people really like the research section of that.
Yeah.
Scrivener too, because I know you commented about editing and tracking everything, but boy, to put all your research there, because so often you need to go back and where did I find that? You know, and I always heard Scrivener was a good place.
I first heard Scrivener through Michael Hyatt.
Yes.
Some of the tools that he used, obviously, he's changed all of our lives, and I'm telling you, that one program alone has allowed me to finally complete my book.
Yay!
It clarified, you know, the layout and structure, and so yeah, it's been great for me. But whenever you ladies and gentlemen are taking questions, I do have a couple, and I'm right on the cusp of getting this book out, and if it's an open forum,
Go for it.
Go for it. Ask your questions, David.
Ask your questions.
Okay, cool. Well, I think I might have mentioned this to Jeannie before. Create Space or Lightning Source? Why? And which one?
I'm going to let Matthew answer that because he mentioned he used CreateSpace. I don't know if you're familiar with the other one.
I looked at the two. I think it's Ingram Spark now. That's right. Yeah. And I went with CreateSpace mainly because it's easier. There's no fee associated with it either. I think Ingram has a setup fee, and every time you want to make a change to the book, you end up having to pay that fee again. I don't think that's too expensive, but I thought, well, I was thinking I might have. What if I need to change the book? And I actually did end up doing a re-edit on my book 6 months after I put it out, and because of print on demand, that was just super easy to just change it, and I could order new copies, and I think I have 4 of the old ones still, but everything else is the new version.
The thing I didn't like about CreateSpace, sorry to cut you off, is you can't do hardcovers.
Yeah, that's
true. And I was
true.
thinking of doing CreateSpace, yes, because I've already uploaded multiple versions, and I've finally come to a conclusion of the final look and format, and that's what I've loved about CreateSpace. But is there a way to shift everything to Ingram Spark or Lightning Source, whatever we're calling it now?
As far as I know, you can do both, actually.
Okay.
You don't have to choose one. One of the great things about CreateSpace is that it's automatically linked to Amazon because it's an Amazon-owned company.
Yes.
I also noticed the other day in my KDP dashboard, there's a new, I don't know how it works, I don't know anything about it, but there's a new thing that just showed up as a beta program that you can create physical books through KDP somehow. Ooh. So I'm probably going to click on the button at some point and play around with it and see. So there might be another option as well for people who are self-publishing that's just right in the KDP dashboard, which would be fantastic. And the stats show up. Like there's a little line that has all zeros for me because I don't have any books in it. But there's a little line that shows up with your other stats for KDP. But yeah, I think you can do both Ingram Spark and I know there's information on here on the Indie Author Alliance of Independent Authors. Like Joanna Penn has information about that.
Okay.
So I would look there and kind of search her website or the Ally, I think it's Ally website, allianceindependentauthors.org is the website. I check there because I know there's a couple of people there who have used CreateSpace for just selling paperbacks on Amazon, but then they wanted a hardcover or they wanted a different distribution model because there's different distribution models for paperbacks, and Ingram Spark gave them the ability to do hardbacks and a more direct distribution rather than CreateSpace's program. So you've got to play around with the dashboards in each of them to get them all to work right together, but there is a way to do it.
I have one last question, and then I'm not going to bother anybody else.
Keep asking, David. This is fine. This is a good discussion.
Questions.
Okay, all right. Well, overwhelming support. Awesome. I'm in the right place. So I have a friend. She's an awesome friend and designer. She has taken the book to a whole new level, designing everything in InDesign, both the cover and the interior. Going from InDesign to an ebook, would you suggest InDesign to an ebook? Or, I mean, I personally hate, maybe hate is not the right word, abhor perhaps is the right word for Word, Microsoft Word. So, do you guys know anything about InDesign to ebook?
Anybody?
I don't.
I don't really know much about InDesign at all on that way. I've heard it mentioned. You know who has used it is
Jeremy. Jeremy, can you come on and talk?
Oh, there you go. Jeremy's got. So see if we can get Jeremy to maybe help David here.
Yeah, Jeremy, just.
This will be a good chat.
Yeah. So what do you usually...
Okay, I think I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hi,
Yeah.
Talk to David. David, meet Jeremy.
Nice to meet you.
Hello. Just wanted to... I just designed a book in InDesign for a friend of mine, and basically for the physical book, I found that InDesign was great. You can add graphical elements and different things for the physical book. I had to go back in and do a lot of reformatting of the book for it to be an ebook. And I don't know if that's just a flaw in InDesign or if I didn't do something correctly in the actual design of the original. I'm still experimenting with it because it was my first time, or it was the second time that I laid out a book in InDesign. The first one, it seemed like it did fine, but the second one, for some reason, I don't know if I did the format wrong or selected a different preference, but I had to go back in and redo the layout for the ebook. I love InDesign for the fact that it does give you a lot of options in graphic layout. It allows you to put photos in easily. I actually learned it whenever I worked at the newspaper. We laid out our entire newspaper in InDesign, and then I'm like, well, we can do this. We can do this with a book too, and it was just a lot easier to getting the photos to come in versus a Word document, and so I'm a big fan of it. It does there is a learning curve for InDesign, and it is kind of expensive because you have to pay $20 a month through Adobe Creative, whatever it's called, Creative Cloud, Adobe Creative Cloud, or something like that. But being a teacher, I can get the whole Adobe suite thing for like $20 a month, so it's pretty reasonable for me to do that with Photoshop and the whole gamut of Adobe stuff.
So, if in InDesign, what do people usually create ebooks with? Just Word to ebook?
Scrivener.
What?
Okay.
You can do Scrivener. You can do basically anything that you can create a PDF document.
Mm-hmm.
Or what I did is I did a PDF document for my actual physical book. But for the ebook, you can do it in PDF, but sometimes it don't correspond to the upload feature, and the pages are thrown off, and some of your margins and some of your graphical elements were thrown off. So what I ended up having to do was go into and relay it out in Word and save it as a filtered HTML file, and then it came out phenomenal. I mean, it was great, and that's what I just did with you guys' friend Clella Camp's book. I reformatted it into the HTML file to finally get it to look right in the ebook form.
Did you did Clella's book?
Just got it in the mail.
Got the mail yesterday.
Yeah.
I did the cover design as well as the inside graphical layout. So it was great to be able to help her out and turn that dream into reality for her.
Cool. So it sounds like basically a lot of trial and error for ebooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was a lot of.
I'm sorry.
Okay, I was going to say for me it was a lot of trial and error with Scrivener. And Scrivener, you can go direct to Mobi or EPUB, which are the two ebook formats you need for ebook. But then there's book formatters out there as well that you can give them PDF or just a Word file, and there might even be people out there that you're able to say, here's the InDesign file, can you make this work as an ebook? And that might be the easier solution is just to pay somebody to do the work, because that might be a really big amount of work to go from InDesign to an ebook that's going to work on everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be mine.
And don't be discouraged. I think it's a process that comes a little bit easier once you figure it out. You kind of know it a little bit better the next time. The first time I did it, it was just I was ready to pull my hair out. But the second or third time, it seemed easier. Now it still took some time. I kind of agree with what Matthew said there about going for see if there's somebody in Fiverr or somebody like that that'll just take it from InDesign to ebook, and you'd probably get it back within 72 hours and have it ready to go.
It sounded to me like you were offering to do mine.
Not me. David, there's a lady on that I've watched several of her videos, and I believe some of her courses have come with a cost, but I think they're relatively reasonable. Is Kristen Joy, just the way it sounds, Joy, and she does a lot with InDesign. Okay. And because I know when she talks on her videos and she gets into InDesign, I just kind of glaze over because I don't have any background on that like Jeremy does or anything. I am not familiar with it. And that's why I knew it was a little bit more complicated. But I looked up her name, I couldn't find her website right off, but
thebookninja.com?
Yes, that is that. That's it.
Okay. All right. Cool.
She might have some information. But like I said, Jeremy, there you got a link. You check with Jeremy and see. Yeah, you may have found your perfect person. I'm glad you asked your questions today, David.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. On that. I don't know. Does anybody else have any other questions on for our special guest today, Matthew, and on Book Pub?
Bub.
I'm gonna mess that up yet. No wonder I'm not on it, right?
Book Bub.
You might actually be on it. I think Johnny, you said before that you were on there and you didn't know.
I didn't even know. Yeah.
Huh. We'll have to look at that.
And Bethany uses it. I mean, to get. Go ahead.
No, go ahead and say it.
Are you on? Well, you know what you do. I don't know what you do.
Well, I didn't know that you could become a partner until Matt said that a couple weeks ago, which I thought was super cool. But I use it as a reader to find new books because their whole thing is best-selling ebooks at a discount. So like even to do like what Matt was saying, your book has to be like 50% off or less, and so many, like he was saying, so many reviews. So they've already sort of weeded out some stuff for you, like as a company, which is nice. And then you can go in. I'm kind of just reiterating what he said, but I went in and for a while I just checked bestsellers because I only wanted ones that had hit a list, but then I wasn't getting as many every day. So you can really just go in and change exactly what kind of genres you want to get. And you can search for authors, like Eva Marie Everson's on there, and so I saw hers come in one time, so now anytime she has a book on there, I'll get a special notification, and then a couple of other authors too that I follow. Anytime a book bub for them, I get a special email. And I have to mute again. Bye, y'all.
So if you sign up as a partner as well, and I don't know, like I'm the publisher and the author, so I could just do whatever I want. So I don't know how this would work for traditionally published, but I can just go in and I just add my books to BookBub, so it's not there's no deal associated with that, and that's just free. And then anyone who follows me, like Bethany said, if somebody follows me and I add a new book, they automatically get notified. So on the author side, that's really great.
Yeah.
So when I got my feature deal, prior to that, I had 2 followers on BookBub, 2. And after my feature deal, I think I'm at 57 today.
Great.
Wow.
So like that's a start.
Yeah,
like that's
it
not
is a
huge or
start, of
anything.
course.
But those are 57 people who maybe a couple of them maybe signed up for my email list. So when my next book comes out, there'll be my email list, and there'll be over 50 people on BookBub, and those things will start to add up, right?
That will.
Absolutely.
So it's worth going on there and just making sure your books get on there.
Yeah, on that way. And tell me again, the feature deal you had to do that was the application process.
Yeah, that one you apply for, and if you get it, you pay. And everything I've heard is that if you get one, it doesn't matter if you have the money. Go and borrow the money from friends and pay to have the feature deal, because it's worth it, and you'll get the money back. So I wasn't sure if I quite believed that, and then when I got one, my book didn't do that well, but I made my money back.
Yeah.
And it's worth it for that.
And it'll grow. Like you said, it'll snowball.
Well, I think actually, I say the book didn't do well, but in the first, I think the day after the BookBub, I think my book was close to the top 20 free books on Amazon, like all of Amazon. It's like, how did that happen? So that was great, but it's one of the difficulties, and if you have control over your books, one of the challenges is that if you have a free book, the free and the paid books are not, those lists aren't linked. And readers, if you go onto Amazon, you have to click on a separate tab to see the free books that are selling well. So it doesn't really, it helps you a little bit to have a book free high on the list, but it only helps you with people who are looking for free books. So it doesn't really necessarily help you for sales. And then that isn't a very sticky list. Like you can't really stick around on there for very long and have people notice you. So that some of the tricks with BookBub that I've now learned, because I've seen what didn't work in mine, and what I would do differently with another one, is I would probably, and this is partly why I'm going to go back to having my book not be permanently free, and I'm going to sign up for Kindle Unlimited, and have the books available there, and start charging probably $3.99 for the first book, for the first ebook. If I got another BookBub, I might still do it at free, or I might do it at 99 cents. Even if I did it at free, I'd probably only have it free for 2 days, and then I would put it back to paid, basically just so that I get a bit of a boost on the BookBub days. And then hopefully some of those people would start to read either in Kindle Unlimited, which for them it feels free because they're paying a subscription, or they have seen it through BookBub and they're 2 days late. Some of those people might still decide to buy it, and then I might start to be able to get some traction on the paid list, which is easier to stick around.
Right.
So and it's nice to be paid for your work.
Exactly.
You're right. And Matthew, when you're featured, you're only featured for 24 hours?
Yeah, like basically a feature deal gets you in their email. So however long that is, right? Like some people don't open their emails for a few days.
Okay, so it goes out like on one email.
Yeah, but you also end up, as long as your sale is going, you will stay on their website. And I think this is one of the things that really helped me. So if you go to bookbub.com, along the left side, I think there's all the genres. And so you can just browse there. You don't have to sign up. And if you clicked on middle grade, if you click on middle grade right now, you'll see my book. I think I'm like maybe 4th down the list. But because lots of books only have really short sales, and middle grade only comes out about every week or so, or sometimes 2 a week, I stayed on the top of that page for most of July.
Wow.
Because I'm a permanently free book. So I think that also helped me, because there's maybe some people who are going to BookBub's website, clicking on middle grade, and just looking at the first book that's there and then clicking on it. So now that I'm the 4th book down, I've noticed like my numbers in August are way, 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 way lower. I mean, obviously that's going to happen because I'm farther away from the email time, and the people who've wanted it have got it. But as well, I have less visibility on that web page. So if you get a deal and you're, depending on your genre, you might stick in there on that web page a little longer.
Okay, this has been great. It's been new for me. I don't know about anybody else listening to this, but obviously
very interesting.
It's new for me. It is noon, so we probably need to start wrapping up on that way. I don't know, girls, what we have next week. Does anybody know off the top of their head? Go ahead.
I don't know that we have anybody scheduled, and I think with the whole Blab demise, we were sort of not knowing what we were going to do. So we'll let y'all know.
We'll put it on our Facebook page.
It'll be in the Writers Chat Facebook group. If you're not a member, we'd love to have you. I think it's just called Writers Chat. Just do a Google search or a Facebook search for Writers Chat. And that's where you'll find our links and all that kind of thing for when we do Google Hangouts. Bet, you got something to say?
No, I'll put it in the YouTube comments.
Okay.
That's what I have to say.
Okay.
I hated not being able to talk. That was terrible.
When we missed you too. I agree, Jan. I thought it was a really kind of good basic info. I learned a lot, and I love it that writers can help other writers, and we were very specifically to be able to answer some questions. He's if I remember right, in Thailand.
He's in Thailand.
Yeah, in the middle of the night over there for him, and I know he and I have emailed each other, and so I know that's really helped him. And Jeremy, I really appreciate you jumping on and helping him. And it's good seeing Vicky. I see Vicky there too, and
Jan's here.
You're most certainly welcome.
Ooh.
There, got it.
I don't know what that was about. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was Jeremy. But anyway, this is great. Yes, this has been great. And like I said, Matthew, we need to touch base with one another. I will connect with you because I think we've got we write very similar stuff, and maybe we can help each other.
Miss Jean, I was going to tell you, I just looked on BookBub, and you don't have an author profile, but your books are on there.
Really? Ha! That's interesting. So I do need to go need to join them as a partner, don't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can follow you.
All right. I will take care of that. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Vicki, for letting me know that. Bethany, anything else before next week?
We could talk about deadlines. We could talk about tips for finishing a deadline.
Yeah, we could.
Or edits. I don't know. That's what's in my brain right now.
Okay.
Bethany, congrats to Bethany. She just finished her book yesterday, was on deadline, got it done, but was really burning the midnight oil for the past several days, but did it. And congratulations. Got it turned in.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We're already starting edits. Like normally, well, in my experience, usually there's a little bit of time between the time you turn it in and then you have to do the edits, and we started last night. Like the publisher's
really
very excited about this book.
They've already sent you back edits?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
wow.
There's a trade show this week, and so we had to edit the chapters they're taking, and they updated the first one because we needed it better. And she's like, we're going to get started this week. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
Can I have them in a couple of days?
I know. No downtime for Bethany. Wow.
But it's going to be an amazing book. I mean, her story is incredible. So
I've read the manuscript. It's.
Thank you for helping with edits.
I was an editor, sort of volunteer editor.
Mandatory.
Mandatory volunteer editor.
That is great.
And it's good. It is a wonderful and amazing story about this little boy and the family's experiences. So, through the eyes of hope, is that right?
Yes. I'm gonna make you guys stay on for 30 more seconds, and I'm gonna put a link in the chat.
Okay.
And
That
we
sounds
can
good.
do that.
That sounds
do
good.
that.
And then we probably wrap it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks again for everybody that popped in. And we know this was a little bit of a crazy beginning as we're sort of working out kinks and trying to figure out what to do since we've lost Blab, which I about cried. I was really sad.
It kind of shocked me. I hadn't picked up
Oh
anything
my
that was
gosh,
coming.
No. I think it shocked a lot of people.
It just goes to show you have to own your own website because
You do.
we control nothing.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's exactly.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing about that this morning. You know, keep your own stuff on your own property, and all that.
It was growing, Blab. I mean, they talked about in the article that their growth was phenomenal. So, I don't know that.
We might still be able to use it though. Like, however they're using it for other people to jump in, we still might be able to.
We
use
might
it.
be
Just-
able to.
I
We'll
think so.
hope. Cross our fingers.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Thanks,
see.
everybody.
And watch the Facebook page to see where we
Yeah.
are and what we're doing next week for sure. And what then again, thank you, Matthew.
Yes, Matt.
I downloaded
Thank you.
the
This was
book.
so much fun. Had a great
It
time.
was fun. We'll do it
Thank
again.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
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 Bye.